First, a bit of NIP history. Dr. Neil Davies graduated from Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa, and shortly after he returned to his native Australia, where he took up a lecturing position at Bundoora, Melbourne, Australia. For 20 years he lectured at the Phillip Institute of Technology at the School of Chiropractic, instructing chiropractic philosophy, Gonstead technique, motion, palpation, toggle recall and Logan Basic. After 20 years he had had enough and he founded his own private company named Kiro Kids. Dr. Davies promoted chiropractic paediatric clinical examination proficiency and rational assessment and correction of the subluxation to postgraduate chiropractors. In 2000 he published his first textbook, Chiropractic Paediatrics, a clinical handbook with Churchill Livingston, and 10 years later published the second edition. He built a simple system called Identifying the Subluxation for chiropractors to learn to assess and adjust the subluxation, and it was built around recognising motion vectors, compensations and postural patterns, the neurological evidence in the myotomes and muscle stretch reflexes. He found an important piece of research called the scapulohumeral reflex of Shimizu that pertained to the upper cervical complex and the cranial subluxation. And he taught chiropractors how to demonstrate the evidence of the subluxation using this. In the early 2000s, Kiro Kids taught seminars using printed black and white booklets and analogue technology. In fact, in those days, all they had was a pile of spiral-bound notebooks, black and white handouts, a bunch of floppy disks with PowerPoint presentations, and Dr. Davies literally posted floppy disks to chiropractors with these programs. In the early 2000s, this was Kiro Kids education. Not a bad start, but Dr. Davies had a vision. The internet was well on its way, and YouTube was making huge advances with chiropractic education. Dr. Davies foresaw a future for YouTube and making his own videos. So he started in video production, and he realised that with all of his live seminars, the world was at his feet if we could stream these to chiropractors around the globe. The very first DVD produced was called Adjusting the Child. It was a 3-DVD volume, the first major DVD production by Kiro Kids, and it was acclaimed. Over the next few years this evolved into a much larger complex course renamed the NeuroImpulse Protocol, and within a year in Sydney, NIP was filmed and produced as NIP Basic. Within 18 months the NIP Advanced DVD was produced. The course expanded, incorporating extremities, front of body subluxation, the muscular subluxation. The pieces of the puzzle started to fit together, and NeuroImpulse evolved again into its next phase. Dr. Davies started to use Facebook to attract chiropractors around the globe and to give them clinical support using Skype. He could see that to touch base with other chiropractors he needed to make far-reaching changes with Kiro Kids and move to a new model. He foresaw this model as a membership site. It had to be easy. It had to be easy to view. It had to be easy to attend. And he decided to use streaming video seminars of the many seminars he'd already filmed and produced. A number of CDs and DVDs had already been produced by Kiro Kids, including radiology videos by Dr. Lindsay Rowe, radiologist and chiropractor, and paediatric clinical examination by Mr. Morris Easton, a paediatrician in Ballarat. A heap of other resources were thrown in, such as published studies in neurology and the subluxation, clinical examination, quizzes, and other neurological evidence of the subluxation. Dr. Davies particularly wanted a facility where a chiropractor could sit down with a notebook and submit email support questions to him, difficult paediatric clinical situations and cases. Dr. Davies introduced drip content where content would be dripped over weeks, months or even years on a regular basis. He wanted a product with real excellence that offered tremendous value and most importantly offered a range of clinical support via Skype. And this became NIP Academy, launched in 2012, and Dr. Davies decided that every chiropractor who wanted to learn about the subluxation should have it available to them. He developed a 4-membership level site with a restricted entry to the higher levels and a massive video library. Chiropractors were able to log in and learn from the valuable e-course on motion palpation, learning for the first time about vectors of subluxation analysis, learning about the neurology of the subluxation, how to analyse it and demonstrate it. They were able to learn about compensation distortion patterns and how these indicate the valuable compensation patterns that we've learned to come to understand and recognise. And for the first time ever, he was able to teach students how to measure the neurological effects of the subluxation and then pre-test or demonstrate the post-adjustment changes before the adjustment was applied. Welcome to NIP Academy Platinum level. We're very keen for you to join us, and we welcome you to the NIP Symposium Sardinia 2013.